Let him work a little bit. Allow him to impress you. 15 huge first date mistakes. Mistake number 1. You're moving mountains trying to see him. You met him online and you've been messaging back and forth, and you are now the one taking that first step, trying to see him, setting everything up. Maybe you are living in different places and now you are the one doing all the traveling, going actually to see him and doing all the heavy lifting. No, don't do that. You are not setting the right intention. I know how tempting it is to go on a date and start manifesting your future husband, but instead, what if your intention could be, how can I have fun? How can I show up as the real me? How can I make an effort to connect with the person in front of me instead of turning into a job interview kind of situation? You are dressing too sexy. Just recently, I was having a little brunch thing with my girlfriend and we were sitting there, and I like to observe people. I'm always playing this game with myself. I bet I can spot who's on the first date sitting at this restaurant. I was observing this couple. This woman, she clearly has a lot of good things going on, and she made sure that she put the goods out there for him to see. I'm observing this guy. I can see how clearly he is really struggling because he's really trying to focus on her face and maybe not even on her lips because that's sexual as well. So he's really trying to tell himself,
keep this eye contact, don't look down, don't look at her breast, don't look down.
And I can also see how she's talking to him, but he's somewhere far away. So all this guy is thinking,
how can I not look at her breast?
And if you are in a situation where you're thinking, oh, why do you only attract men that only want to sleep with me, that I never hear from them? I'm not saying that you necessarily have to be someone that turns up on a date with a turtleneck, which I actually like turtlenecks. But just when you have that low cut top, putting your legs out there, just be aware that this is extremely tempting, and please don't blame a man if you catch him actually going a bit lower and you want to be like eye contact, yeah, but you are the one actually encouraging this, which, don't get me wrong, a bit of encouragement, I don't think there is anything wrong in there. First dates, and you have to keep it playful, you have to keep it a bit sexy. You are picking the most expensive items from the menu, and I actually didn't know about this thing, but my friend told me, you know who you are, and she said that her girlfriends, they would do that because it's almost like a test for a man. So you are testing a man, can he be generous, is he giving, does he want to be a provider, and things like that. I personally think that to go for something very expensive, and if you have no intention paying for that whatsoever, I just think it's a bit mean and bad manners to do that just for the sake of testing a man, not necessarily that you are enjoying and you want to eat that thing or drink that thing. Talking about drinks, you want to be easy on your alcohol. I was talking to this friend of mine, and he was telling me how he went on a first date with this lady, and when the time came to order drinks, she actually ordered a full bottle of wine. And as the evening went by, she drank the whole thing by herself. She was quite tipsy, as you can imagine, one person consuming a full bottle of wine. And then she invited him over, which he politely declined because he felt that it was inappropriate to go to someone's place and have sex with someone who can't stand on her feet. I think when you are drinking too much on a first date, you put yourself in a very vulnerable situation because you probably don't know that person very well, so you don't know what may happen. Maybe certain things will happen that you don't want to happen, and I just think it's bad manners and really embarrassing. Tell me in the comments, what do you think is an appropriate amount of alcohol to have on the first date? Comparing your date with your ex. You are sitting there and you are hearing all these stories and you're putting these sticks in your head and thinking, well, my ex used to do this and my ex is so much better at this. He is making more money, or he was more generous, or he had a better hairline, a six-pack, or whatever you can think of. I think it's important to remind yourself that there is a reason why he is your ex, and then if you catch yourself going through that over and over again with different dates, maybe it's a sign that you should not be dating yet and you need a little break from that. Now, you may be doing something completely opposite, and you are actually speaking negatively about your ex. You are saying how mean he was, how he mistreated you, how he did all those things, a liar, cheater, and all that. We all have those skeletons. I'm really happy for you if you don't have an ex. Talking about anyone negatively, it's not really the best thing, but talking negatively about your ex on the first date, it's a bad idea, because it kind of shows this person how you will be talking about them if things don't go the way that maybe you would like to. Writing him off just because he's boring. You are listening to him and he just sounds that he is very put together, responsible, a self-sufficient individual, a grown-up person, doesn't gamble, doesn't have major addiction issues, comes from a nice family, doesn't have all the terrible trauma, and you're just thinking, it just sounds not my cup of tea, doesn't make me tingle in the places that I would like to, and it's just nah. You also have to understand that some people, they're just not very good on the first date because they're very nervous, and maybe you are not able to see his quirky sides, his funny sides, the things that you would think, oh, this is really sexy. I think before you consider writing someone off just because you think they're boring, you may just remind yourself that he just might be a really decent, solid, good person. And if you are not attracted to that, then maybe you can look into yourself. Like this video, if you ever found yourself in a situation where you didn't go on the first date because the guy just seemed a bit too boring, too plain. Writing him off just because you are disagreeing on something. Whether he voted for Trump, doesn't recycle, or any other things, and now you're thinking, oh, there is no way. But I think it's important to remind yourself that would you really want to be with someone who is exactly like you? If you are with someone that is exactly like you, how can you grow? How can you learn things from this person? How can you complement each other? Because I think this is one of the most important things when you are in a couple, right? You're looking for red flags. So you're asking all these questions and just trying to find out, how can I find out as soon as possible what is wrong with this person? And then all the good things that they told you about them and everything else that you noticed, it's almost like it doesn't matter because you just focus so much on those negatives. It's something also that I talk in this video here, and how it's absolutely sabotaging your relationships. You're not making your intentions clear. I know there is a lot of advice out there where people are saying you should never tell a man exactly what you're looking for. You should never tell a man what kind of men you are attracted to, because a man is going to try to mold himself into this thing, just trying to get you into bed or any other reasons. Firstly, I really do believe that men are not as malicious as you may think. They're really trying hard and they're really struggling. So I think if you are only going out with guys that you feel that when you are telling them what you're looking for and you see that they're molding themselves into that and they're being not truthful, they're being fake, and they're trying to mislead you, I would look into myself and I would ask, okay, where am I not telling the truth in my life? Sometimes it's not really easy to look at yourself because it's much easier to think, oh, why these things keep happening to me? But I think there is nothing wrong when you are on that date to tell that, look, I'm at a certain point in my life where I'm actually not looking to just date for 5 years and see where it's going. I am looking to be a wife and I want to have a family. For some, it may sound like, oh, she's coming on too hard. For others, it will be, that is fine. This is also at what stage I am. And I think when you do that, when you're truthful, that helps you to filter out those dates that are not meant for you anyway. Which gets me to the next point. You are pretending to be someone that you are not. So maybe you are this person who simply loves spending time at home. you read books, you're a bit of a geeky, quirky person, and you're not that much into going out and living your best life like a party animal. But maybe you think that this is what is more acceptable, or maybe you think this is what is seen as more appealing and attractive. So now you are telling your date how you are having this crazy life and you are going out every night to different events and you are a social butterfly and your calendar is so busy and you're so overbooked. This person may think, well, okay, it's probably not going to be a match, because maybe what he's looking for is that geeky and quirky girl who's reading her books and doing her knitting at home in the evening. I think it's very important to try to show up as authentically as you can. I know we all want to show our best sides on the first date, and there is nothing wrong with that, but try to be as authentic as you can, and at least not lie and not try to make up stories about the person that you are not, and maybe someone that you would like to be, or think that this would be a better version of yourself. You are approaching dating like a chore. It's almost as in every Friday and Saturday evening you have dates. Then on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday you have little coffee dates where you're meeting someone just for a little coffee during your lunch hour, and your schedule is just so cramped with all these dates because you're thinking, if I can go on 100 different dates, 101 is going to be the one. If you are in that situation, you are probably burned out from all the dating, and my advice would be to maybe have a little breather and focus on quality and not necessarily quantity. I just think if you are eating a chocolate brownie, right? And if you are eating one chocolate brownie, it's melting in your mouth, it's so sweet, and you can really appreciate that. But if I had 5 chocolate brownies, I would feel sick. Something like overdating, not allowing him to take control. You are taking over this whole situation. You want to plan everything, to know everything, and you even telling him we should go there and we should do this and da. Why do that? Let him work a little bit. Allow him to impress you. Allow him to take charge. If a man is not making any effort, trying to think of something to do on the first date, I don't know, it's a bit low effort. If I were you, I would just spend that time doing my nails or something. You're getting infatuated too easily for all the wrong reasons. So it could be you going there and you think, oh, this guy, he's so hot, and we have all this chemistry and we have all these fires going on, but just slow down a little bit. Those fires may also mean that he just reminds you of a certain guy that you are so used to, and now you are associating that with he's the one. If you are in the pattern of dating unavailable guys, then make sure that you watch this video here. Like this video so more women can have better first dates. Subscribe and hit notifications for more, and thank you so much for watching.